Hello, everyone. Wow, we're lots of peeps. Thank you for joining. Thank you. What's up, man? Yo, we repping today. You showed up at a good time. James is in here.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, yeah. I just happened to wear my Challenger Deep T-shirt from one of my favorite bands today. That's cool. So we're gonna answer questions. I'm really excited. I'm really excited to see what the questions are gonna be like. I was listening to I've been listening to the soundtrack, not gonna lie. It's pretty.
I'm very happy about how it turned out. I was like, not like, of course we worked on it, but after it dropped, and I was like, wow, we did that, holy shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
It didn't sink in until I was like, okay, it's not bad, it's good, it's very good.
Yeah. No, same. I definitely, I mean, I think we both probably separate but the same, since we're not in the same space physically, like felt the same way about it. Like kind of scared, like confident in what we did. Like we liked what we did, but thank you, James. Confident in what we did, but like, you know, the reception is always something that you never know. You never know. So yeah, and I felt that especially about like the songs that I did just on my own, because the songs that I did with you, I was like, oh yeah, like we got it. It's a dynamic duo, we good. But my own, I was like, these are weird. These are like maybe the weirder songs that like I don't think RWBY has ever sounded like this. Hopefully they like it, and they like it. So
yeah.
Okay, well. So everyone who's doing questions, put them in the question box and not in the chat if possible, because that is going to be the easiest way for us to answer questions. I did see Mason in the chat do a question. So hello, Mason. Nice to see you. Hi, Dom. Hi. So Mason asked us, question 1, who wins in a fight, Olive OK Goodnight or Casey, but she's 15 feet tall and thoroughly caffeinated? That's a wild question. Honestly, probably Olive OK Goodnight, because I think I would just be really clumsy if I were 15 feet tall, and caffeine doesn't do anything to me. It just makes me like more drowsy, actually. So I think I'd fucking just die. I'd be like, whoa, I'm tall, and then I'd just die.
Bro.
So. Okay.
That
yeah, you wanna
question, dude. That was very wild.
What the fuck? Thanks, Mason. Off to a great start. Do you want to pick a question from the boxes?
Yeah. Let me see. All right. Well, I'm trying to like, you know, just go through the questions, because there is quite a lot of them already, so that I like. Yeah,
go for it. I'm also gonna. I need to put some headphones in so that I can hear you properly. But
all right, there is one. This is a funny question because of the username. So Pink Floyd 95 asks on the edge, were you inspired by Pink Floyd's "Comfortably Numb"? So honestly, it's so funny because like I actually know, but I can see where that comes from, and it's very funny because it's just like a little band. So when I was like a kid, my dad would always tells me that I should play. Like my dad is not a musician, right? But like he's a super big Pink fan, so he would always tells me to like play a little bit more like tasty, or like play too many notes, just like play like the guitarist from Pink Floyd. And I don't know why, like this time I just think it worked out that way. Like I didn't get that inspiration necessarily, but I do remember like thinking about my dad telling me to like play tasty instead of just like going full shred mode. Like so in some sense, I guess I could say yes, but like not directly. But it's funny.
Yeah. No, that is funny. I surprisingly enough, I really have not listened to a lot of Pink Floyd, which probably would surprise a lot of people. And I think I basically like my Pink Floyd deep dive still has to happen. I only know, random songs and like parts of The Wall, but like I haven't, so wasn't an inspiration directly for me either. But for that song, the sort of conception of the demo, I was really inspired by the group called Taiko. I remember like before The Edge came out, I don't know, when we were talking about it on the live stream before, I kind of said I was like excited for people to maybe hear this song that was inspired by them, and so that was the song. And I think it's pretty obvious if you listen to Taiko. I think the album is called Dive. If you like listen to that and then The Edge, you can like really see it.
I remember us talking about Taiko when we were doing it. It's like,
yeah. That's just like I just knew like their production is so calming. It's still really like it's like a driving force. Like that whole album is best heard when you're driving on the highway, and you're like, yeah, but it's like also very soothing. So I knew that would be a good direction to go in for the end of the volume and for like, their whole thing.
I guess besides Taiko, my biggest inspiration for that is a guitarist that I've talked to you a lot about. Case he's called Jacob Siteki. I think he's from like Holland or something like that. But he does like electronic music infused with like super heavy guitars and things like that. And so I wanted to like maybe not like replicate, but just kind of like get inspired and make like put some gross sounding guitars on top of something so calming, and like when I don't know how to call it breakdown, but in the like heavy part of the song when like the vocals go wild and then there's like some guitars, just like it sounds kind of disgusting, but in the good way.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
I got that from that guy.
Yeah. No, he is so cool. I still have to listen to more of him, but that one song that you showed me a long time ago, Sunflower, like when it comes on, I'm like I astral project. I'm like, fuck is he doing?
Yeah.
How does he do that? He's so cool. Yeah. This kind of relates to, parts of the whole soundtrack, but I also wanted to say, because I'm excited by it and I like it. I like talking about artists that influenced all the different songs and everything. For me, with The Edge, writing-wise and like melodically, two of the people I was listening to a lot at the time were Caroline Polachek, who definitely influenced Worthy and Quiet as well, and Julie Jacqueline. I was listening to an album that she put out that was flawless. She put out, I think it was last year, and I don't know. Yeah, she became a big influence for that. Yeah, I fucking love that song. I really like that song. I'm really proud of it. Also, dude, can you still hear me okay? I saw someone say like that my mic switched and I did put in these headphones. Like, does it sound worse? Or can you hear me?
I do hear you perfectly fine on my end.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, internet be like that, right?
Yeah. Just anybody, if I'm sounding, if we're sounding whack, go ahead and say something. But cool.
Do you want to look for another question? I see somebody else can join and stuff, and I guess for us to respond questions, the best way is just go to the question box or whatever and just type your questions in there. Maybe we should go about the questions like, I don't know if faster or anything like that, but I'm pretty sure they're gonna pile up.
Yeah.
So totally up to you.
Yes. Yeah, I don't know. I'm probably gonna go pretty random with it. I think the questions that I think are gonna be like the most common are the ones I'll try to nail. Well, someone asked, Dave Finkelkorp asked a bit ago if there's any news about Volume 10. Personally, no, we don't have any news to share with you. Greenlight Volume 10. That's pretty much all that we can say about that. Favorite anime? Dave Finkelkorp also. Oh, you asked so many questions, Dave. What's your favorite anime?
Mine? Dude, I don't know. Like, there's so many. It's hard to choose. But I feel like, I mean, from like life-wise, since I was a kid and stuff, maybe Naruto. Like, I don't watch Naruto anymore, but like that was like the anime that like got me into anime. And right now, probably Jujutsu Kaisen or something like that. I just like. It's like, it's funny, like last year I was watching a lot of anime and this year I haven't watched almost any, but currently probably Jujutsu Kaisen.
Yeah. No, I mean, you know me, I don't watch anime like very much at all. Like it's very rare that I can actually have the attention span like to watch a whole anime.
I can confirm.
Yeah. I really like movies. Like I can sit down for a 3-hour movie, no problem. Like Oppenheimer, didn't even blink. I didn't go pee, nothing. It was totally fine. But like if I have to watch an anime, I just like it. I mean, there's parts of anime that I don't enjoy, like that are, you know, sort of like the anime tropes. I think are kind of hard for me to sit through, even though I like really appreciate everything in between.
There's
been
been a couple comments about your audio cutting on and off already that I've seen. Maybe just stop using the headphones or something might help.
Yeah, Rip. I'll just do that. Hold on. Okay.
Better.
Sick. My favorite anime is Kill la Kill because it's absurd and I just really like the style of animation and the music is amazing. I found this anime was put on Netflix that is like from the early 2000s or maybe even I think it was like 2003 or something. That's called Mononoke and it like blew my mind. I thought it was like one of the most beautiful.
The movie?
No, like not Princess Mononoke. Like there's a series called Mononoke, just that, and it's like 10 or 14 episodes. It's just like a one and done thing. It's really weird. It's very fucking strange, but like the art is incredible. And it feels kind of like a Studio Ghibli production, but it's like dark. But yeah, I recommend it because it was really fucking cool.
Man, I have to. I didn't even know that was a thing.
Yeah, it's so random. Like it was put on Netflix like a couple of months ago, and I was like, this looks cool. This character looks hot and androgynous. What is this? And then I just watched the whole thing, and it was fucking awesome.
I'm gonna go with this next question. It's a super easy response, at least on my end. It's like, do you think you two are better off making the OST as opposed to Jeff? And my quick answer is just like, no. Like, I don't think, I don't, well, of course people are gonna compare it, but I don't compare it. It's just it's like our thing versus his thing at least on my thoughts. It's like, I'm just a different dude that writes different music, and I just happen to write it with Casey, which of course you're amazing, but you know what I'm trying to say is like, I just think it's different. Like, I don't think it's either better or worse. I just think it's something else. That's it.
No, yep. I completely agree. I don't think it's really at all a question of like who's better off doing what. I mean, it really is just, it evolved, I think, as it should, especially because it's been over 10 years now of like this show and this music being a thing. Jeff was ready to retire from music, and I am personally just at the beginning of my music career. So it really like only made sense. And, you know, I didn't want to see like, you know, because of that, him retiring, I didn't want to see the music change really at this point. So I wanted to continue, and I had a perfect person to do it with if they wanted to do it with me. And yeah, I think that we've done a great job at continuing to write the music with it feeling like it's still RWBY music, but it's very different. I personally am okay with that. And I mean, obviously I have to be, right? But if you're going to be confident in what you do, especially as like an artist, then, you know, that's kind of how you should feel. But yeah, no, I mean, I've revisited, you know, all of Jeff's work so many times, you know, and like I'm amazed by just the vastness of it all, and I love it all. And I'm happy to, you know, continue his work. I think it's pretty obvious, and I think that it's easy to distinguish between what we're writing here versus like, okay, Goodnight's discography and, you know, any other like stuff that we write. Like I think that it sounds very inspired by Jeff's work, and I think that's how it should be. So.
Yeah.
Also, I see a question. There's a couple of questions about Checkmate. Someone asked what, Bailey asked what Checkmate is about. Another said, was Checkmate meant to be written as a sort of cunty and petty anthem? It lives in my damn head rent-free. Thank you. The answer to that second question is yes. I mean, my dad has this sort of long tradition in the sort of RWBY discography of writing these really like fun songs for the fight scenes that are super cunty, and like I genuinely think that he is like unmatched in the way that he's able to write like just the pettiest lyrics, and you know, and so yeah, so Checkmate is pretty much about that. It's literally just the fight happening between the Red Prince and Team RWBY, and it's just them popping off and just being like, you can't fucking take us down, you know? So it's really fun. It's really like, it's one of those RWBY songs that's like not meant to be taken too seriously, but you know, there's always little sprinkles of things in songs like that, in RWBY songs, that are like, oh shit, you know, kind of like serious moments, like I guess the bridge, the like disco-y bridge is a little bit more serious than like the rest of the song. But yeah, we just knew we wanted to do some kind of electro swing thing. I saw somebody talking about Caravan Palace in some chat or in some comments. And I think it's pretty obvious, but if you don't know Caravan Palace, you should go listen to them, and they are like the biggest direct inspiration for that song. Yeah, that's exactly what I wanted to do. So
yeah. It's like we literally were thinking of like their most famous song. I don't remember how it goes from the top of my head, but I remember it was like, yes, we want to sound kind of like.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's Lone Digger.
Oh yeah,
with the really cool music video. Yeah, it's so fucking good.
me, Checkmate was like the weird sheep of all of the songs. It's just like it's also the first time personally that I made like anything like that type of genre. I don't know, like I've never like even tried to write anything like electro swing or I don't know, EDM jazzy stuff. Like I don't know.
Yeah.
But it was so fun. It was like, yeah, I have pretty good memories writing that one. And I also remember when you were sending me the vocal takes and the lyrics, and we were just like, what the fuck, dude?
Yeah. No, it's funny. I mean, yeah, I kind of thought it was the black sheep of the album too at first. I kind of changed like over time, like after everything was done, like which one I kind of thought that was. But it's funny. I think that was like one of the most anticipated songs afterwards, like apart from Guide My Way. Like people are really liking that and seem really, really into it, which I really wasn't sure whether that was going to be a thing or not. Like RWBY does have a tradition of having some like EDM bops in it, but this one being more like electro swing, I thought it was going to be very hit or miss. So I'm really glad that it was a hit, and also that's the song on the soundtrack that we have with like the most features in it. Technically, you know, they're not listed in like the credits on most like maybe on Spotify, but not so realistically like there's a lot of instrumentalists on that song. So Zach Zinger is the one who did all the horn arrangements and played the sax and the clarinet and all of the horns there. But then the bass player is Samuel, who fucking murdered. And then we have Cenk, who did the synth solo at the end. So there's like so many people on that song. It's so cool to hear the final product.
Yeah, it was the song that it wasn't the song that took the longest, but it was the one with more people involved. Yeah. Super dope.
Yeah.
Let me see what other questions are in there. There's a lot of questions, so obviously, guys, sorry we cannot go through all of them, but like we're choosing them randomly, or at least I am at this point.
Yeah.
Well, it says, what was the process for creating Red Like Roses Part 3?
Yes.
Yeah, that one. I don't like every song starts as like we write it of the show, and then it took a really long time just overall to write the songs, not because of any other reason, but because it's like, I don't know, the logistics of writing something for a scene, then waiting for them to confirm whether they like it or not. I mean, Rooster Teeth, right? Then like polishing the song for the episode, and then being like, okay, we have like a verse or whatever this is, and trying to like get from like the entire song out of that little thing that we wrote for the scene. The good thing is we wrote probably like what we like the most out of that song is the scene, which is like the whole transition of like RWBY falling from the sky or from wherever she's falling with the like Red Like Roses motif down to like now the verse that is like super heavy and so on. So we had like really good foundations for it already. Then I don't know how many times we got together to do it, but like I felt like that one in particular like had a nice flow. And you came to Texas, where I'm at living right now in San Antonio, and you came to like write stuff with me, and probably literally one single night or two. But like that was about it. So it was really nice. Like it took a long time to get from the scene to like us sitting down and fleshing the song out, but it was sick.
Yeah, I think also coming up with like the full version of that song was tricky, just because you know, the way that it plays out in the scene itself is very particular, you know, and it feels a lot more like a score because it is that. And seeing people's reaction to it in the show was so crazy that like the positive reaction, that I felt like we really should sort of keep it form-wise similar to how it is in the show. We kind of debated like keeping the Red Like Roses motif part in or out, and I ultimately kind of decided to leave it in because I think the interesting thing is that like I don't think that Guide My Way sounds at all like technically like Red Like Roses Part 1 or 2. I think it's clearly inspired by them, but like I mean they're 10 years apart, you know, like and we're two completely different artists writing wise than my dad was when he wrote those songs. So I think that it sounds really different, but I think that that's really okay. because especially because the manner of this part of Red Like Roses is RWBY like really taking a completely new approach, and she's a different person. She's older, and she's finally like, you know, discovering herself and like what her grief and what her relationship with her mother is as it evolves and as she learns to use it as like a power rather than like a, you know, like a burden. So I don't know. Yeah, I think that it's kind of like, as a song, you know, it's kind of overly epic, you know, but I think that's good. I think people like that about it. I think people are really happy that the Red Like Roses like motif is in there. I think it sits pretty well, and yeah, I don't know. I'm definitely was into that.
I've seen some like YouTube comments about people saying that this like it shouldn't be called Red Like Roses Part 3 because it has like nothing like the others beside the little motif.
Yeah.
And I was so close to commenting like, so what, bro? Like,
yeah, no, like, I mean, the thing is too with the whole parts, right? Like, you know, certain songs having, you know, part 1 being a part 2, like there are like almost every song, right, could be about a character. Like if we wanted to consider every single song that's about a character a part in their main storyline songs that are like the most important, we'd have like fucking 10 parts, like, and that's dumb, like, to me. So for me, like, it made sense to make it a Red Like Roses Part 3 because this is a hugely pivotal moment for her. Like, she's never had this experience, and she literally like died and came and like saw her mother, like, and you know, they're just like she learned so much about like her mom and about herself, and was like literally reborn. So to me, it really only made sense to make this song like Red Like Roses Part 3 because it's about her exploration of grief and the relationship with her mom. I think other songs, like, you know, it doesn't give them any less importance, and it doesn't mean that they're not a part of the character's personal like development, but you know, the other part of it is like, I don't know, like, you ask and you shall receive. You know what I mean? I don't think that we want to like take, you know, we take this job very, very seriously, and we take the music seriously, but I also don't want to, like, who cares? Like, if I think it sounds like this, it's going to be that. And like, the truth of it is most people are probably going to be excited by that rather than like upset. So whatever. I don't care.
Exactly. Wait, there is another question that says that, hey, Casey and Martin, what is like working on the greatest queer song ever? So my answer is, don't ask me, and that was Casey.
Well, it was really cool. It was very cool. I'm just so thrilled, like, that people are so into that song. I mean, I really just had like, I'm so afraid. I have like my phone, sorry, side note, I have my phone like hanging on like a screw in the wall so that I can like, because it like needs to charge. It's like dead. So yeah, I'm just really thrilled that people are so into Worthy. I mean, like, it is really, really cool to be able to write a song like that. I've never written a song like that before, and to have like two queer women, like, you know, singing and like participating in like the writing of the song, I think is really cool and very important. And yeah, it's dope. I mean, you know, I've kind of always, like, you know, I'm not like a shipper. That's not my job. Like, I mean, but obviously I consume, because I've grown up with the show, like I've grown attached to the show and the characters, and I've consumed this for a long time. So, you know, for me, I've always really liked Bumblebee and the idea of it and the ship, I suppose. And I thought it was just a really special moment, and I was really fucking excited to score that scene. So yeah, I mean, it was interesting trying to make the song version, because the version that's in the show, again, like really feels like a score. So
Yeah.
I just did my best to see where I went with it naturally, and like I said, I took a lot of inspiration from Caroline Polachek, and Sigur Rós is another big inspiration for me. And another one that I didn't mention, this is like an inspiration that I didn't think of until recently, but like a lot of people, you know, really like the a cappella aspect of it. And that's also quite inspired by one of my favorite soundtracks, movie soundtracks, is Swiss Army Man, which is done by Andy Hull and another guy that I can't remember his name at the moment, but super a cappella driven soundtrack, and it's one of my favorites in the whole world. I think it's absolutely beautiful. So that was an inspiration. And oh, and Imogen Heap as well. Yeah, so yeah, I don't know. I'm just so glad that people like it, and I hope that we, you know, we did the characters justice, and yeah, and it was such a fucking pleasure to have Ariyel on there. For some background, Ariyel and I went to school together. She went to Berkeley, just like me and Martine did. And I was friends with Ariyel for a long time. Fun fact, she was my dungeon master in the first ever D&D game that I played with my friends at Berkeley. She was incredible. She was amazing. And yeah, so I knew her through like my sort of circle of like singer-songwriter friends at Berkeley, and I loved her work from afar for a long time. And we worked on a song together that was by Lulo, another friend of mine. That song is out somewhere, so you can go check that out if you want. It's called Let Me Let You Go. And yeah, I was really excited to see if she would be down, and she was down, and she wrote the fuck out of that verse. I've seen most people quoting her like verse. And I love it because it's so simple, but like that's what gets you ravenous. It's like, ugh, kiss me, hold tight, I'll never let you out of my sight. Boom! Like, it's so funny. But yeah, so love that song, love Ariyel, and man, I'm very excited. And yes, it's in the song is in 7/8, which I guess
because you like bug.
Yeah. Because yeah, I guess funny enough, like that song being in 7/8 like didn't really cause me any trouble like compositionally, but quiet actually did cause me a bit of grief, which is funny because the song is just, I think the song is just in 6, but like it feels like it's not. Like they're for some reason rhythmically the song feels a little bit off. And so it took me a little bit when writing it to like figure out how to make it sound like it was still grounded while still keeping the kind of like weird topsy-turvy feeling that it had. So that's interesting. But anyway, enough about that.
There is a question about the score that I was like, oh, that's a cool one. Just lost it. Oh no, here it is.
Yeah.
Was what were the easiest / most difficult scene to make music for? I want to say that the score was made not only by me but by other 3 composers as well. So there is Martin de Lima, there is Peter Jones, and Matthew Wong, and I'm sure they all have their answers for that as well. But for me, the easiest is just like it's kind of like an internal joke that I used to have with Casey a lot, because I think it's in the first episode where the mouse is like appearing, and we used to call it the rat queue. And it's kind of like, I don't know, just like fun peasant like music. I don't know. So I was having like the time of my life doing that, and we would just play that scene. Well, not the scene, but like the music as I was doing it, we would play it like top volume and just fucking around, and we were like, yeah, the rat queue. Yeah. And we were this close to calling the song the rat queue.
Yeah, I don't even remember I don't remember what it ended up being called now, but it's definitely not as good as the rat queue.
It's literally the first, it's the first song of the score of after, which one after the lo-fi version of your song, or after Wings. It's the first one. Like it starts so like dramatic, but then it gets like all red up or whatever. And dude, like that was the easiest thing ever. Probably like 5 minute top. Not just kidding, but like.
Yeah. Wait, which one did you say was the hardest?
Oh, the hardest.
I didn't.
I haven't said what the hardest one was, but probably like I don't know which one was the hardest, but definitely the last episode was the hardest to make just overall, because first there was like I think that's the only episode I made fully by myself.
Yeah.
And I don't know, like it carried so much like weight on what was happening, so making the score for it wasn't necessarily easy because I was too worried about like, I don't know, just being like, I have to make this impactful, I don't know. So it was hard in that sense, and then plus the fight, plus saying goodbye to Little and all of that, so it was like a lot of everything. It was like super sentimental, but then just brutal, and then metal, and then all of the things. So that episode was the hardest, but I don't know what scene was the hardest.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense to narrow it down to just that episode, because that you did the entire episode on your own, and it was literally the finale. So I think you fucking pulled out of it so nicely. I mean, like, re-listening to the score, like, there's so many, like, this happens every year, but I think especially, like, this year, because I have you and Delima, who, like, were bandmates and, like, friends, you know, like, you know, just fucking doing your thing, as well as Peter and Matthew. Like, I don't know, I was just really fucking floored, like, after it was out and listening to so many of the scores. There are so many that, like, they just sound so fucking innovative, and also very, you know, with it being 4 people all doing the score, you know, that's a struggle, and I feel like pretty much the whole thing sounds really cohesive for what it is, and surprisingly so. And some of my favorite moments in the score are like 100% yours. So you fucking nailed it, man. You nailed it, man.
So, I was happy to know people liked it, and I was happy to know people really liked that last scene, because I was like, hell yeah. Funny story about that is, I remember my guitars were so out of tune, and we went through like so many revisions because I was so about like not making my guitars out of tune.
Yeah.
But
that was whack. No, it was fucking awesome. Right.
Right. Choose a question.
Right. Fuck. I just have to go randomly to the middle. Which song of the Volume 9 soundtrack made you emotional?
None of them. Just kidding.
And for me, all of them. Yeah, but no, for real. I mean, I don't know. Every single one. I mean, I'm fucking emotional beyond comparison anyways. So yes, every single song made me emotional. I actually think the one that made me the most emotional, though, was the Wings lo-fi version that I did, because that song is obviously one of the, you know, like the earliest ballad that was ever written for the show, and Monty was very, very fond of that song, and yeah, that was a very random thing. Actually, we had kind of decided that if we could do like a reimagined version of a song or like an acoustic version, that we would if we had the time, but we really wanted to focus on the new material like as much as possible. So Wings kind of just turned out random brain fart of an idea. I was like, you know, Wings might sound really nice because it's a pretty simple tune in sort of a newer, you know, my style kind of electronic production, chill, dreamscape kind of thing. So let me just try it. So I tried it, and then I worked pretty hard on it, and I don't know. I was very proud of myself. There's something about being able to reimagine like a song from that long ago, like 10 years ago, when, you know, I mean, I couldn't, you know, I sang it okay, but like getting to re-record it and also reproduce it in like my style as a musician 10 years later, like, and I feel, you know, decently successfully, that just felt like so incredible. So I think that's the one that gets me emotional the most. And it's funny because I didn't even really assume that song would get very much attention. Usually like the acoustic versions and the remixes sort of don't get a lot of attention. But I think that's totally fine. And if anybody asked me like what one I was probably the most personally proud of, I think probably for personal reasons, that one holds a lot of weight for me. So yeah.
There is Andrew Farkas I've seen him in the chat. He's been really insistent about his question, and I just don't know how the fuck to manage the question. I cannot find the dude.
Oh no!
But we would answer it, I promise.
Yeah. If you can repost it, maybe do that as well, because that will be helpful. It's very hard to navigate here. Also, just as a general note, if people ask questions about what perspectives the different songs are from, like character-wise, I will not go into that too much. It is also kind of like tradition for RWBY and RWBY music to not really go too deep into that. I really like that personally. I like that the songs are left open to interpretation a lot of the time. I think that there are some songs that are fairly obvious, you know, like there are clearly some very RWBY-centric songs this volume because, you know, she was, you know, the main focus. But there are some songs that I think are much easier to leave up for debate that I don't want to get specific on. Basically, my answer every time will be like, oh, well, it could be these, or it could be these, or, you know, so, yeah, I won't get too specific, but somebody was asking about Chatterbox, and I'm super down to talk about that.
I guess that answers your question, Andrew. I just read it.
Nice. Oh, cool. Oh, nice. That's great.
That basically answers his question.
Yeah. Yeah. So Chatterbox is one of those that, like, I think perspective-wise can really be left up to the listener's interpretation. But in general, it is sort of about Neo and the Curious Cat. It can kind of be about both of them. And as far as like who's singing, you know, that's sort of the one that I'm like, I'm not gonna go into that. You can figure it out. But that song was really fun because that song was a big departure for us both, like stylistically. I basically brought to Marty like this one sort of trippy kind of shitty demo for the scene that was basically like the initial hit and the initial vibe of like when the Rusted Knight enters the chat in like Juniper like headbutts the Jabberwocker. And then I basically just gave him all these references. I was like, Deftones and Crosses, which is basically a Deftones like side project. Those that was pretty much that was the vibe of. I saw people thinking that Chatterbox also like reminded them of like, you know, 90s or early 2000s like grunge and stuff, and like they mentioned like Breaking Benjamin, and I was like, yeah, that's kind of the sound we wanted to go for. So
I've got it so many times that it sounds like an Alter Bridge song.
Oh, yeah.
And I can definitely see how it sounds like that, which I love it though.
Yeah. No, I think it was at first it was a bit daunting because it was like, okay, we've never really explored like tones that sound like that before, both like vocal production wise, overall production wise, guitar tone wise. And I remember that when we initially wrote that and like we wrote the verse to the chorus, we were like, damn, that chorus is so gay. What it does, it's like fucking Mixolydian. It goes like Mixolydian all of a sudden or something.
It just does the Alter Bridge.
Yeah. Yeah. And then as we continued that song, I don't even remember, you know, when you like a part so much that you then like can't even remember how you conceived it. Like that's how I feel about the bridge of Chatterbox. I'm like, I don't know how that happened, but that turned out to be my favorite part of the song.
Yeah, that was really, really sick. I feel like, I don't know, like our writing was definitely really inspired as to like the music that we both like to listen a lot. So that's why like it just went that way, because each time we had to like put something inside of the project or whatever, we were like, yeah, we want this like a little bit like this or so on, and it was like so clear how it happened. Like if you ask me the key of any of the songs or like the modes or any of that, like I wouldn't know.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely not the first thing that either of us really think about. You know, we know that we write in weird time signatures and that we write jazzy voicings and such, but it's not really music theory is kind of the thing that, at least for me, I consider later. You know, I'm like, do what's natural first, make sure that it doesn't sound off, and then I like to observe whatever it was that I did later, music, you know, theory wise, and be like, oh, that's cool. I guess I did learn something. But perfect. Who are you waving at?
That's Sandy Lee.
My mom. Hi, Mom. So cool for you to be here. Thanks.
He's going, so I was just like,
oh, fuck. It's fine.
Going back to the topic, I do agree. Like I don't look at music necessarily like, I don't know how to say, like academic wise, or I don't look at it as like theory or anything else. I mean, of course we have to know what the fuck we're doing, but like I never look at it as like, oh, how about we go to like
yeah.
Hey, Camilo, that's totally a headphones moment, bro. You know,
bro, I miss you.
That's a headphones moment, and what he means with headphones moment is just basically you just put your headphones on and let it be, and that's a headphones moment.
Fuck yeah, man.
You know?
Yeah, and back to Chatterbox, just to finish out that. I think that there are multiple moments in multiple songs on this soundtrack that are both pretty Paramore inspired for me, which is not a big surprise. And Anberlin, I don't know if anyone knows this band, Anberlin, but they were a band that I listened to a lot growing up. And they're a Christian band, or at least they were, and I didn't even know that. I wasn't Christian. But they had like this one album, I think it's called Never Take Friendship Personal or something like that. Fucking slapped. Like I love this album so much. And then they have a couple of other songs that are newer that I love. And it's really funny because you don't know where those inspirations that, like, you know, bands or artists that you haven't listened to in years, when all of a sudden they're gonna like come for you in the back of your brain and like inspire the way you're gonna like write something. But I think that's always like such a joy. And for some reason, Anberlin was like melodically like a huge inspiration for certain parts. And I think that the Chatterbox bridge is one of them. The Guide My Way verses at the beginning are, and the Guide My Way bridge. Like if you go listen to like any song by Anberlin, I think you would see it and be like, oh shit, yeah, she listened to that a lot. Yeah, random, very random.
Let me see what other kind of crazy questions are there.
Crazy.
There's one that is crazy.
I'm gonna have my phone in my lap for a minute.
Dude.
Why is it like so close to my face? Anyway.
I'm trying to. Sorry, guys. I'm just trying to read through the questions and see if there is anything that we haven't talked about that could do like a little bit more info for you all.
Well, somebody said, this is just funny. Someone said, Marco, RWBY music always gives the vibe of this shouldn't work, but it does. Were you aiming for this feel? And I guess so. I mean, I feel like that's maybe like the sort of prog meets pop, or like heavy metal meets pop influences that I think like my dad maybe has had, and at least for like me and Martine that we have. I think I've seen a lot of people, like, you know, of course it's not a lot of people, but the people who don't seem to connect with the songs from this volume, or you know, certain songs by like OK Goodnight, they will typically say like, I don't know, there's just something about the beat that feels off, or like there's just something about it that it just sounds off. It doesn't sound like solid or grounded. And I always think that's kind of a funny comment because, and I'm not saying that to sound snobby at all, but that is kind of the point, I think. Most of the time, that is intentional. And I think it only sounds off because it's not supposed to sound grounded. Or where it's grounded is sort of in beats that aren't conventional.
Right.
So.
I mean, it's also like, well, I know it's at least on my end of things, it's different from, like, okay, Goodnight is a different story because they actually have a drummer. Like on this one in particular, to respond to like more questions, it's like, yes, the drums were the drums on the rock songs, at least they were written by me, and I am no drummer. And yes, it's not necessarily like a drum machine, but the drums are like MIDI, right? So there's not like a real drummer. There's no one really playing the instrument, but it's mostly like, as much as I know about drums, so I always worry about making something like maybe fucking impossible to play. And I was watching, like, for example, this like talking about beats necessarily, how they could feel grounded or not. Like, I saw some people freaking out at like the bridge from Inside, for example, because that like I think it's like 7/4, but also the ride is like displaced in a weird way. Like, for example, I even remember when I showed Augusto, he was like, "What the fuck, bro?" I don't know, man.
Yeah. It's funny too, because I remember like the reason that we kind of wanted to go that direction with the bridge for Inside was not only to bring back the soundscapes like from the intro, like the intro, but that like this song is so busy that giving a little bit of a break, you know, seemed like a good idea. And I do still consider it that. Like, it sounds like that to me, but it also sounds fucking crazy, and you're like, what's happening, you know? So I kind of like that. I kind of like that it's both, like, it still sounds really uncomfortable and confusing, but it's also a little bit of a break. There's not a whole lot, you know, there's not a new idea, because I think that starting a new idea would have been too insane for that song. Yeah. Also, like, a lot of people ask me for lyrics for that bridge, and I'm not gonna give you lyrics to that bridge because it's real. It is literally just me rambling in the microphone, like, over, you know, like, however many tracks. There's like 6 tracks of me just like rambling like a crazy old man because I was trying to. I mean, I don't think I used any actual lines from the show at all, but I just wanted to capture that, you know, Alice in Wonderland wacky feeling of, like, you know, inner dialogue, you know, dialogue with whoever you're with. You're just going insane. You're lost. You don't know what the fuck's going on. You know, so I don't really have definitive lyrics. Like, if you can hear the lines, then, like, cool, but, you know, they're not, I don't consider them lyrics. They're just kind of like,
yeah, they're more like an added texture that has its, like, meaning, of course, why it's there. It's not just like a sound or anything like that. Like, it has a meaning, but yeah, it would be so weird to, like, try to to have, like, on top of another, like, yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah. Someone said you're making Flint's life really tough. I know. I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. I did not make it easy for making lyric videos, but yeah, it's just me. It's just me rambling in the mic, and sometimes that's all. Sometimes that's all you need.
I've seen a lot of people asking why the music is not on Instagram, and I feel like I have this opportunity to shit absolutely hard on the distributor for the soundtrack because whoever uses TuneCore, just stop using it and never do that. Like,
yeah,
I don't know what to say.
It's not great.
I wish the songs were on Instagram and everywhere where they could be, but I just, like, it's out of our control, and the distributor that they've been using for all their lives, I just think it sucks. Even they think it sucks. So.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, no, I mean, I don't know, like, I don't know if it is because of TuneCore, the distributor, or if it's because of Rooster Teeth, if it's for legal reasons. I honestly have no fucking idea why none of the RWBY music is available to, like, on Instagram. It bothers the shit out of me too. I'm really sorry. It sucks, but yeah, there's pretty much nothing we can do about that. We are in talks with Rooster Teeth about changing the distributor because they absolutely fucking suck, and they've gotten credits wrong numerous times throughout the years. But it's kind of a decision that's not up to us, and yeah, we can try to push, you know, for popular demand to have the RWBY music available on Instagram, but realistically, you know, we're just contractors. We don't, you know, we're not, like, in Rooster Teeth, so it's really not up to us, unfortunately. But
I don't think it's even up to Rooster. This is literally up to TuneCore. It's like, because I mean, they are really helpful, at least with me.
Yeah,
they've been really, like, on top of shit.
Yeah,
for the soundtrack at least, but yeah, just TuneCore sucks, and we wish we could have the music on Instagram or, I don't know, TikTok, so people could dance to it or whatever.
yeah. By the way, Alonso asked us, I have no idea when, but he asked us in the questions, what song we identify with the most. That's kind of a cool question. What do you think about that?
Okay, for me, it's in between Trapdoor and Guide My Way. It's just, I mean, it sounds really dumb, but, like, obviously, like, I mean, like, guitar wise and stuff like that, like I think I do what I like the most in those two songs. Just like yeah, I don't know, like the riffs, the solo, like I went nuts on Guide My Way. Like I think it's one of my, like, this sounds like I'm tuning my own horn, but like it's one of the most challenging songs I've done, and I'm even surprised. Great, I was like, wow, I can play this.
Yeah, dude. No, you fucking bodied that solo. That solo is crazy. Like, I know you texted me the other day about it, and you're like, how did I do that? And then I've been listening to it, and I'm like, how did you do that?
Yeah, really proud of that. And yeah, I don't know. I mean, Trapdoor is just like the songwriting overall. Like, I really like how it flows. Like, Case, you know, I joke a lot about like my frustrated dream is to be like a DJ in the UK or something. And just like keep my guitar aside and just play house music or whatever. And so that song has it all, right? That song has the guitar and the like trippy, like electronic influence to it. And I don't know, like for what they mean as well. Like, I know there are songs meant to like go for the show and they mean something for the show, but like also there's just something about them that, like, you know, when you're depressed as fuck, like
Yeah, yeah.
like it doesn't matter what it is, but like, yeah, Trapdoor is like, god damn it, bro. Like, I'm like, it makes me sad in the good way, as in like fuck.
Yeah. Yeah. No, yeah. I mean, like, it's funny because Trapdoor is like literally maybe the most actually like depressing song on there, and like kind of the most bleak, right? But I get you, and I do kind of agree. I can't say it's solely that, but like, yeah, I think Trapdoor is special because it's obviously about Ruby and what she's going through, but it's a song that I think anybody can relate to some extent, lyrically. You know, it's just like fucking self-doubt, self-sabotage. We all feel that and go through that. And yeah, I agree. And for that song, one of my favorite artists, most listened to artists, like pretty much now, consistently every single year on like my streaming Wrapped, is a group called Moderat, which I've shown Marty, and Marty likes as well. They're basically like industrial, like electronic music, and a lot of it is very bleak and like kind of emo sounding, but it's fucking incredible. So Trapdoor was definitely production wise pretty inspired by them, and especially the ending of Trapdoor. Like, I don't remember how we discussed it, but I just remember when we were writing the end, we were just like, why don't we just why don't we just break down? Why don't we just like give up? Like, instead of a bridge, like just like an outro, a long outro that's like kind of feels like a little breakdown, but you know, it's just very bleak. And that's like that's the other part of the soundtrack. That one, like, really, it makes me emotional when it gets to that part, because it's really fucking like just devastating sounding. And it's just like, all right, well, I'm giving in to this depression.
It's very
so, yeah.
very easy to relate to, dude.
Yeah.
Not saying I'm sad, but like, of course, when you get sad, it's just like, oh damn it. And I mean,
Yeah.
because it as well, I'm like,
Yeah. Also, I saw Peter, if he's still here, hi, that he said earlier that, yeah, he said, for me, Quiet is when he resonates with the most. The Blade Runner tones are just, thank you, Peter. Thank you so much. And that was actually would have been my other one for like songs that a song that I resonate with. I mean, I wrote that one on my own, so, you know, kind of makes sense. but no, I mean, that's another song that, like, it's pretty fucking obvious, so I can definitively say that that's a Jaune song, and that is about Jaune navigating his many years of isolation after all of the fucking trauma that he's endured. And I mean, I resonate with that song, not because I'm an old man trapped in a 24-year-old girl's body, but that I really like throughout kind of all of my writing, like personally, it's reflected in like OK Goodnight stuff too, and in my personal music. I really like the idea of silence versus chaos, like in life, and like how both of those things can really, like, I don't know, recenter you, or depending on where you are in life, how those aspects of everyday living can affect you mentally. And so for that one, I mean, that's me trying to tell Jaune, or Jaune realizing that, you know, despite all of his stress and anxieties and just trying to fucking get through life, you know, that it's just simple. It's just everything, basically everything is just going to happen the way it happens. And there's something very quiet about that, about evolution and stuff. So yeah, quiet is another big one for me. So anyway.
Insane. All right. Should we wrap it up with a couple more questions?
Yeah. Let's do a couple more.
Let's do a couple more, and then we can call it a night. And
Yeah.
sure, there will be more of these.
Yeah, we can do more. We can also do some, like, you know, we're on different time zones, and we have different schedules. So, you know, you might be seeing live streams of, you know, just us individually as well as other ones together. So
Right.
we can do it.
You can do it. Question. I don't know for you, Katie, but for me, like the questions like got to a point, like maybe, I don't know, like a couple minutes ago, where they stopped like updating on my end.
Oh, damn. I mean, I see, just maybe it just reached a limit, because I've seen there's so many that I mean, I just kind of been randomly scrolling, and then if I see one, I pick it. So I mean, there's still a lot here that we could probably
Yeah.
answer.
Right.
It's a simple question, but without a doubt, many people have asked what our favorite RWBY characters are, so we may as well say that. What?
No, I'm thinking of, it's like not as easy, you know.
Yeah.
I think my, how to say, like my I don't know how to describe it, but I feel like I care about how pretty they are. No, I'm just kidding. But I like Yang. She's just so badass, and I don't know, like, I like her voice. I like how badass she is, and I like her personality, and I just overall think she's a great character. I like her the most out of everyone in the team, and yeah, it's weird to tell, because it's not like personally. It's not like I really feel like connected to any of the RWBY characters personally. But besides Yang, I just really like the cat this season. I thought the cat.
Yeah.
So Yang and the cat may be like in my, yeah, like probably my two favorite characters. Like, I know the cat is like temporary, but for the season, it was the most liked on my end.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, that's really good. I mean, Yang is also one of my favorite characters. For me, it's probably Yang and Neo. I've always really loved Neo, and yeah, I've always loved Yang. And I think as well for this season, the cat and the voice acting absolutely fucking blew me away. I can't believe we got that guy, 'cause he's fucking sick. And his whole range of voice work is fucking awesome. And yeah, I couldn't believe what he like brought to that character and the script, and he just fucking knocked it out of the park. I thought it was great. And yeah, combining like the Neo and the cat like for the last few episodes, I thought that was really fucking cool. I thought it sounded great. I really liked the like effects that they used on the on his voice as well. It sounded fucking dope.
Yeah.
Someone asked if it was also me that did the I'm what inspired the fairy tale, like the whispered part in Red Lake Roses Part 3. And yes, that was me. I did kind of intentionally, I mean, I was just, whispering it, but I did intentionally kind of want it to sound a little bit like RWBY. So call me a voice actor.
Tired.
Thinking.
Dude, you could do great voice acting. Like, you could do some crazy noises.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I've thought about it. But yeah, I don't really have any experience apart from the couple of small things that I've done. But I suppose I've done a bit of acting with my voice, sort of, for a long time, but more recently, in recent years, because we put out an album with OK Goodnight called The Fox and the Bird. If you haven't listened to it, you should go listen to it. But it's a concept album, and there's a bunch of different animal characters. And I, apart from the bear, which is Ellie, Elizabeth Hall, I like kind of represent all of the different characters in every song. And so it was very interesting, and I do feel like I kind of tried to hone in on some kind of character acting skill to try and accurately represent all the different characters, and that was really fun. It was very challenging and very like vulnerable because I had never really done it before, but that's the thing. You just gotta try things out, and I just don't have a lot of fun doing that. So.
Dude, there are some crazy noises there.
Some what? What did you say?
There are some crazy noises in the album.
Yeah. No, it sounds fucking whack, but yeah. I'm trying to pick a question. I'm having a very hard time. Will there ever be a RWBY concert / will we be doing RWBY music live? And that's a good question. We were supposed to. Unfortunately, we were supposed to last month. We were going to perform at Anime Midwest, but we pulled out of that. None of us had any idea really about that convention or about the guy who runs that convention. And he's really not cool. That's all I'll say. So unfortunately, I just didn't know about that information until it was kind of too late, and I kind of made the final decision to pull out of that show. I think that performing RWBY music live is going to be a very rare and special occasion most of the time, and I want to do it at a convention or in a setting that is a safe space, and that we want to be there to support. So it is funny because we could have been at RTX and we couldn't be because we'd already signed on to do that, and like I said, then it was kind of too late. But yeah, so we definitely want to do a show, and we want to play this new music, and we want to play some old music, but it is going to be a rare occasion, kind of probably forever, but it will happen. And we will let you know as soon as we have any plans to do so. Right now, we don't have anything concrete. We obviously had been rehearsing and had been very excited to do that show at Anime Midwest. So hopefully you know, we will just be able to do it again at another time. And yeah, it's definitely a possibility. So just keep looking out for that.
As Casey said, like, I'd love to do it, but it's true that it's gotta be like like it has to be a special occasion. It's not like a band going on tour or anything like that. Like maybe some people might expect, but for some conventions and like as far as opportunities present themselves, and we're down to do them with, as Casey said, with great people involved and in safe places and everything. Like I know we're gonna make it happen at some point. So
yeah.
I will post the fuck about it when that happens. So
this is I literally like don't even know if this I just assume this question has been asked and it's fun and whatever. So why not? But what's each of our favorite or favorites of RWBY songs in general, like old or new? I suppose we could do new, but we just talked about all the new stuff. So, is there
it was a funny thing because as you were talking, I think it was my phone. Just like I just cut the audio for a second and I couldn't understand what you were saying.
I asked. I don't know if this question was asked, but it is often asked in these live streams, so may as well just answer it anyway. What are our favorite RWBY songs, like past, present, or whatever?
None of them.
They all suck.
Bro, I love Neon. That's my favorite song.
Neon? What did you say? Neon?
Yeah.
Fuck yeah, dude. Fuck it. Yeah. That's my best friend's. That's my best friend Christian's favorite song too. He has it on his like workout playlist.
Dude, yeah, like I would work out to that song. But yeah, but honestly, I don't know what is it about that song. I just think it's a bob. It's very different from anything else in my opinion. And I don't know. Just I've liked it for years. Like it's not anything new. I've liked it for years, and I could still do it, and like it doesn't get old.
Yeah, I think isn't your other one like All Things Must Die? You like that one too?
Yeah. Oh yeah, because fucking
yeah. I mean, yeah, I have a lot of favorites. I pretty much have a hard time narrowing it down every time, but I May Fall is one of my favorites. Because it's just, I don't know. It's from the first volume. It sounds pretty epic despite me having very small voice, and I think my dad just crushed it on the lyrics for that one. It always brings a tear to my eye. So that one. Touch the Sky from volume 7 is another favorite of mine, just because again, like it's like sometimes when anytime I revisit old RWBY songs, the songs where my dad like fucking gut punches with like lyrics that just like you don't even see coming, like those are the songs that tend to be my favorite. So Touch the Sky, like lyrically, I just like can't. I don't even know. I don't know how he did it. Like I wish I wrote that. But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, there's a lot of favorites. Ignite was one of my favorites for a long time too, just because.
That song is crazy too. That's like
yeah, dude. It's really like and Zach did the horn work on that song as well. Which was, yeah. And it's the rap. It's the rap with the horns for me that I just like every fucking time I hear it I'm like, what the fuck, this is crazy. Like it's like the most anime thing I've ever heard, you know, but like I've never heard it really before. So yeah, I like that one a lot. I like Smile too. Sorry, I know I just keep going, but Smile I think is like one of the most underrated RWBY songs. I don't know why more people don't fuck with that song, because I think that song is like so dope. The chorus is sick. Like the chords are so jazzy, but like so like emotional. I don't know. Anyway, sorry. I'll just fucking go on all day if we keep talking about it, but
Rising might be my favorite of.
Yeah.
And just
Me too.
overall, the six soundtrack, I like it like the most.
Yeah.
As a complete thing, I like it the most. The Volume 6, which is the soundtrack that came up when we first did the first Goodnight thing. I remember your dad and I would like just exchange files out of random.
Yeah.
So I listened to the entire shit before it dropped. And I don't know. I have really good memories out of it, and I just think like production wise and songwriting wise, like I know it's crazy. For example, Light Nights is like, bro, like what is that
song is crazy. That song is so wild. Like I just recently re-listened to it and I was like, what is going on? Like it's so fucking insane. Yeah, I think that Volume 5 and 6 for me like have probably the most bangers, or just like as albums. I think that 5 and 6 are like crazy good. Just kind of as bodies of work. So yeah, Rising I think is my favorite opening too, if we're talking about openings. Yeah. Again, yeah, like lyrically, for me, that's like part of why Rising is like so fucking like good to me, is like the lyrics are so fucking good. Like the lightning doesn't ask, what is it? I forgot it. The lightning doesn't take advice from anyone. The willow doesn't need to learn to stand. Like what? Like my dad suddenly went, who is the turtle guy from Kung Fu Panda?
Oh,
My dad just went off fucking that guy.
why shit? Like, the sudden, just like, oh damn.
Yeah, like he just meditated in the forest for like 5 hours and then like wrote those lines. It's like, what the fuck? So sick. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. Do you want to
Shifu, that's the guy.
Oh yeah, Master Shifu. That's freaking awesome. Do you want to pick another like a last question to send us off? Because
All right.
I can't pick.
Last question, because we gotta get the dinner. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I gotta eat. We gotta eat. I hear you, Peter. The harmony is God. When I solo the sides to hear the vocal harmonies. Chills. Yeah.
Let's see, dude. As I'm telling you, like all the questions on my end stopped on the box or whatever. So,
Fuck.
why you guys try to ask something and then.
Let's see if I go all the way to the bottom. Oh, all the way to the bottom is the like earliest ones. Oh shit.
Yeah, if you're curious about anything, just feel free to put it in the chat now, or
Yeah.
ask the big questions, because this is the last one, guys. This is like we could never come back,
Oh man.
Oh.
Shit.
I feel like this one is a good one where we can like close in a good one. Is there any future projects, RWBY or otherwise? I feel like we can elaborate on that.
Yeah, you go first, man.
Okay. So, any future projects? Yeah, always. I'm personally writing my own music, and I got to collaborate with really cool people. And recently, like I'll talk more about it in depth later, but I think I'm actually gonna make an album with one of my favorite guitarists ever. There's not anything I've told anyone yet because it happened yesterday.
Oh
So,
shit.
more on that later. But I'm just happy. Who knows what's gonna happen with RWBY? But if we get the offer again, I don't see why we wouldn't do it. Like this went so well, and just like Casey is one of my best friends, so like we'll always try to music with her, with RWBY or like outside of it as much as we can. Yeah, shout out to Atomic Wawa. Like I'll keep doing my stuff with Atomic Wawa as well. We're actually dropping up a single like in 2 weeks or so. Finally, we haven't moved in a little bit. And no, it's not Pliny. If it was Pliny, bro, like, but that was going. Just trying to incorporate a lot of electronic music with like peasant music. The right cue. And open to do anything RWBY related, anime related, with Casey always. So with my band, so that's what's going on with me. How about you, Casey?
Yeah. Same. Yeah, if Volume 10 does get greenlit, I don't want to make promises. Like, don't quote me, but I don't see why we wouldn't do it. I certainly would not be satisfied if, unless something big was, impacting me from doing it or something, and like I had to, step aside. Like I would not be satisfied unless I was a part of finishing out the music world of RWBY. So yeah, Greenlight Volume 10, hopefully that. I have solo music that I'm going to be putting out sometime soon. It is going to be an EP, and it's if you liked the songs on this soundtracks that I wrote on my own, Worthy Quiet and the Wings remix thing, then you just might like my solo music. So that will be a thing that will come out. And OK Goodnight is going to put out more music at some point as well. Don't have any date on that or anything, but that is exciting, and that will also be happening. And yeah, I think that's kind of it. The collabs are going to keep collabing. And yeah, we'll just have to see, So
Amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a good thing happening, dude.
Yeah. We hope to go on tour again and stuff. All that. So yeah. Well, fuck, this was awesome. It went by so fast. These always go by so fast. I'm always afraid of doing a live stream like by myself, because I'll spend 3 hours like talking. Like, I don't even, but we gotta eat. You right.
Guys,
but yeah.
A pleasure. Stay safe. Be good to each other or whatever, or not. I don't know. But all good. Casey, as always, love you, and bye-bye.
Yes, bye-bye. Thank you, everyone, for coming. We'll let you know when we do another one of these, if you're just coming in now, or if you didn't get to, I don't know, you didn't get your questions answered. We'll do more. And thank you for listening. Keep listening to the soundtrack, and we love you for listening. So thank you. Love you, Martin. Love all you guys. Have a good night.